In a few days, we are live. I expected to be doing more live. Well, my better half was gone to Morocco, but my shifts at work have been starting earlier, so that has unfortunately meant that aside from last night, I was pretty much sleeping pretty early. So when you guys might have been expecting me to be live, I was out of it. So we are talking tonight classic horror. So hopefully a few of you guys saw that I did put a tweet out there and an Instagram post in hopes that we'll get some people in here tonight to talk from the movie club. So I wanted to do one because I'm going to do like a Christmas horror one coming up soon. I had a couple reasons. Hey Reality, welcome back, dude. You made it for the first part of the stream. What we're talking tonight, we're going to start talking. Well, you know, we never know where it's going to go. Hey, Penny. Hey, Isaac, how's it going? We are talking classic horror. So I did make a purchase tonight, and if you saw my Instagram, you probably know what that purchase is, but I'll get into that after. I've got a few different things to show you, whether they be DVD box sets and Blu-rays, a few different Blu-rays, and some of my favorite classic horror. And you guys can tell me about some of your favorite classic horror and classic horror pickups as well. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to go diving into that. So as I show part of my classic horror collection, and definitely there's always going to be something I'm going to forget because this is me. I am super forgetful when it comes to this stuff. We're going to look into this and dive into it. So I think first off, what we should do is like say where it kind of started for a lot of us. And that would probably be with the Universal horror. Now, if you were like me, then long before like Blu-ray came around, these were the sets that everybody kind of went nuts for. Hey, Fry Lori, how's it going? We're talking classic horror tonight, and I gotta just get out my my bubbly because I love that it has the pink thing there. I drink a lot of like energy drink at work. I drink usually like not a lot, like one energy drink a day, so I get a lot of this. You know, one of these days your heart's gonna explode. Hearts like I'm the doctor. 2 hearts, but cheers all, and cheers to the Colettes, by the way. If you haven't checked out the Colettes channel, Nicole and Kyle, they come on here a nice bit, and they're really cool people. And actually, they sent me an Instagram message with a box of bubbly. They actually picked it up. They're probably going to curse me for it, but I've gotten used to it. The original Invisible Man. That's a great movie. So, and let's go through them kind of quickly. So when they originally came out, and I don't have all of them, I'm missing one. So now that they're all out on Blu-ray again, I know there's a big box set, but I would kind of like to get the individual sets. Oh, nice. Night the Hunter is definitely a classic, Isaac, and that's my dad's favorite film of all time. I actually bought him the Criterion edition when it came out for Christmas that year. It's a favorite of mine as well. I'm a huge Robert Mitchum fan. Out of the Past is one of my favorite noirs, and of course that stars Robert Mitchum. But Night the Hunter is like, when you see like, this is the only movie directed by Charles Laughton. Wow, it's amazing. So he's one of the directors that can honestly say he has a perfect career. Hey Chad, how it goes? We're talking classic horror tonight. And the way it all started with me, and this is the first one I got. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be honest with you. So the very first Criterion release, yeah, that was an amazing release. Very first classic horror set that I ever picked up was from my childhood, and that is this one here, the Frankenstein, like the original Legacy collection on DVD. Now these, if you got them back in the day, these were incredible. These were amazing sets to have. And as a guy that grew up, like I'm Canadian, so there's a channel here, kind of like a public channel called CBC, Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. When I was a kid growing up, the late night CBC late night was how I discovered a lot of the movies that I talk about now, especially stuff like Universal Horror and some of the Hammer stuff as well. Ironically, they would show a lot of the Universal like classic horror, but they would show a lot of the later Hammer stuff. So I had actually probably seen stuff like Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde before I'd seen all the Draculas and stuff like that. So that, or you know, the Hammer versions. But anyway, so the very first one that I ever picked up was this one here, Frankenstein Legacy. And you can see it's a little bit like battered around right now. This was an amazing set. So it has on it the Frankenstein, of course, Bride of Frankenstein, which is still probably one of the best sequels ever made of a movie, classic or modern day. Son of Frankenstein, Ghost of Frankenstein, and House of Frankenstein. And I actually do think mid-80s or reruns being shown. See, that's the thing. You're over there in the UK getting it on the BBC, and I'm over here in Canada getting it on our kind of like our broadcasting network. But the thing with, I guess, with that Universal stuff was probably really cheap to get at the time, and it was something that they could put on and not have to worry about like having to have to censor it out or take stuff out. Hey Peter, welcome. You did make it early. I've just got onto my first one, which is the Frankenstein series. So you guys can let me know what your favorite like Frankenstein film, the original Universal classic series is. For me, I go back and forth. And one of the things that surprised me when I picked up this set is it was missing something. And that's Frankenstein versus the Wolfman. Was it because of the Monster Squad? Really? The Monster Squad is a great way to introduce kids to those. Hey, g'day, Film Schlock. We're talking classics tonight. I'm going to be showing Blu-rays and DVDs. So if you're not a DVD lover, you're gone straight into Blu-ray. Don't worry, there's Blu-rays coming up. I just like to leave those for later. But these here, still, I would never get rid of these sets. Even though I've gotten some newer stuff, I would never part with these sets here. These sets were like feature heavy. At the time, Van Helsing was out, was coming out. So Steven Sommers was actually like really pimping it. So you get like a Van Helsing thing on every one of these sets. There's a Frankenstein Files, which is a really good documentary. She's Alive, because The Bride of Frankenstein actually got its own documentary. Sure. Film historians provide like commentary for Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein, original theatrical trailers, Boo, a short film. Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein get their poster in photo galleries and newly remastered audio tracks as well. So again, these were amazing. And what's really cool is I love the look of them. Like they look kind of like a book. I'm not going to take everyone out like this. Don't worry, I'm not going to bore you that way. But I do like the way that these are put together. These were really nicely done. I love the book look that they did for these for a lot of the Universal sets. I do like the later ones. I mean, I do like Ghost. I do like House. And then Son. Son is really good. I don't think this is a Frankenstein one I don't like. I think actually, you're going to notice this with a few of mine. The first film in the series may not always, often is not my favorite. There we go. Out of my Universal Monster films, which one is my favorite? Tell you what, I'm going to show you most of these here, so I will get to that. So you're ahead of me, but don't worry, I'm going to say that. Bela Lugosi makes an amazing Igor, and it was a shame that they didn't follow it up so much with Frankenstein versus the Wolfman. They kind of did, but not completely. Now, the next one I picked up, of course, was the one that most people picked up first, and this is Bela Lugosi's Dracula. And on this one, we got some amazing films. We got the Spanish version of Dracula, which I hadn't seen at that time. Dracula's Daughter, which I'd seen many times on CBC, and it was actually a personal favorite of mine. But my personal favorite on this, out of all these Dracula films, is Son of Dracula with Lon Chaney Jr. I thought it was so far ahead of its time. Back in the day, it was creepier. It actually had special effects. Now, Lon Chaney Jr. was a bit of a tubbier Dracula, but he did a really good job. I like the fact it was set in New Orleans. It was really different. The way that the kid did like the fades, the animation within the film was really, really good. And again, you get like features on here like Philip Glass does a new score for Dracula, which is actually pretty incredible. There's a Road to Dracula as always. There's an introduction to the Spanish version by Star Lupita Tovar. I hope I got that right. David J. Scull does an excellent commentary on this one here, and the host of that. So we're going to go through these fairly quickly. So next up was the one that just was mentioned earlier, The Invisible Man. Now, I hadn't seen a lot of the Invisible Man ones. These have amazing Isaac. Oh, Creature in the Black Lagoon, because we released it with the original. Oh, nice. I'm actually going to get to The Invisible Man, but it's not going to be the way you think. No, sorry, Creature from Black Lagoon. It's not going to be anything. So the Invisible Man set was probably the one, like as far as the sequels went, that I knew the least about when I originally picked these up. Now these were a few years back, so obviously I know more about them now than I used to. But I'd seen the Invisible Man and the Invisible Man Returns. I hadn't seen the others. I hadn't seen the Invisible Woman at the time. Hadn't seen the Invisible Agent, and I hadn't seen the Invisible Man's Revenge. Yeah, certain times you got to double dip, man. There's certain times you got to double dip. Now, with this here, really, really enjoyed the Invisible Man set. Better than the Blu-ray box set that you have. So, and I'll tell you why, because this is more. There's a wider variety of on this, right? So basically, when you look at these, there's just the variety of of films that are in this Invisible Man set. It's not all like some people would be angry that these weren't all horror, but there were action movies. There was kind of a comedy in here as well, and that bothered some people. Me, I really liked it because Invisible Man itself is one of the darker films. He's actually a human monster. It's a brain that's like going. He's completely insane. He's probably in a way, aside from like one of the most human monsters out of the Universal Monsters series, and one that deals mostly, I guess Frankenstein does too, with the sci-fi aspect of it, sci-fi fantasy aspect of it. I really did like this. And Claude Rains, who's an actor that I'm not going to be honest, I'm going to be honest about, that was especially when I was young, I was not a huge fan. I did think that he did an amazing job. He's a really good actor when it comes to like emoting with his voice. Now, I did find that sometimes in other ones, it actually is really scary. I found and really neat too. Now, there's I'll mention in a second though, something. Okay, there's this show. There's this movie where Ed Begley Jr. plays like the son of the Invisible Man, and he's actually not invisible. But I think it's Amazon Women on the Moon was on. But he goes around like every night because he's gone crazy, and he goes around like running around naked throughout the town, and the town folks are pretty much he doesn't like he's not hitting. He's not registering that he's not invisible, so they just pretend that he's that he's invisible. It's hilarious. But anyway, so Invisible Man is actually, like it was just said there, is one of the creeper ones. Actually, is a fairly scary film, and his voice really does a lot to that. Now, when I'd seen him before, yeah, that's the thing. Even if you got the Blu-ray ones, keep the DVD ones. I do recommend the one time that you should double dip. Hey, Cubic Lover, we're talking classics. You should like this. This is the classic Universal stuff. But yeah, this one here, yeah, I love Amazon Women on the Moon. I'm pretty sure that's the one with Catholic high school girls in trouble. Or is that the other one? No, it's the other one, isn't it? But I do like Amazon Women on the Moon. But the Invisible Man, Claude Rains, an actor that I did find fairly stiff in a few movies that I'd seen him in before, really won me over when it came to The Invisible Man. And of course, with The Wolfman as well. Speaking of The Wolfman, this was next, and one of the first like Universal horror movies that I ever saw is on this set, and it's a Werewolf of London. That may have been, I may have seen Werewolf of London before I saw The Wolfman. Actually, I was a little kid at the time. Carrie Fisher casting couch scene. Oh man, I miss Carrie Fisher. Rest in peace, Princess Leia. You rocked. The Wolfman set is, and it's one of has not as many. So they put the Frankenstein meets the Wolfman one on here. Now, when they would do it on Blu-ray, I'm pretty sure they put the Frankenstein meets the Wolfman on both the Wolfman and the Frankenstein sets. I'm not quite sure. I'd have to look into that because I don't have the Blu-ray of that. Hey, Jace, how's it going? Hey, I was gonna talk to you because I may be up for doing a stream actually in the very, very near future, as in the next couple of days, if you're into it. I'm pretty unprepared, but we can wing it. So let me know, because yeah, you're always asking me to let you know, and I'm horrible at getting back, so I do it live. But I'll message you after actually. Yeah. Okay. So Sunday, I work sometime on Sunday. Let me check my hours. I think I'm off at 10 p.m. on Sunday here, like Canadian time. So we gotta figure out which hours are which because you're over there, and we can actually do that. That'll be fun. or maybe it's earlier in the day, which is better for you. We'll find out. We'll figure it out. So the Wolfman set. This we're talking classic horror here, Jace. Incredible stuff. Werewolf of London was the first time that I would see the guy that that would go on to play Warner Orland, to go on to play Charlie Chan. That'd be Monday for you. Okay, we'll work it out. I'm working till I'm working from I think around 12 or 1 till 10 every night day next week, except for Wednesday, I think. I missed Fry's comment on the Wolfman there too. I was trying to figure that out. But Frank meets Wolfman, Shoe for London. Tom Weaver does a commentary on this, and again another fantastic set. And last but not least, and this was the very last one that I picked up, was The Mummy. Now I did have once upon a time The Creature from the Black Lagoon. But The Creature from the Black Lagoon was my dad's favorite. And when I was moving to Ontario a few years back, I had all the sets. Now, my dad could never find The Creature from the Black Lagoon. So what I ended up doing was I ended up giving Dad my copy of The Creature from the Black Lagoon, and I never was able to find it again. So now I'll keep looking for the DVD set to have a complete collection of these, and I do want to get the Blu-ray edition, the one that came, because I think in the newest Blu-ray edition, both The Creature from the Black Lagoon and Return of the Creature from the Black Lagoon are in 3D, and that's the way they were that's the way they were originally shown. So that's kind of cool. So The Mummy was the one at the time that I thought I was going to like least, because The Mummy, and I'll be completely honest, the original Mummy was my least favorite of when I originally watched it, of the Universal films. I actually preferred the Hammer Mummy films over the Universal ones. I even bypassed release a new movie. If each of my favorite directors released a new movie on the same day. Argento. If Argento was really, I would always go for Argento. So this one here, I actually bypassed and didn't watch the Mummy sequels for years. I mean, they would come on TV all the time. I would say wasn't really into the Mummy that much. I'm not going to watch the sequels. Man, was I wrong. The Mummy sequels were way, way better in my opinion. This is my opinion now, than the original film. Hey Rich, the thing is that I have grown to like the Mummy. Hey Boredom, I've grown to like the Mummy a lot more than I did when I was a kid. I do think it's still one of the slower moving ones, but I think it's at the time that I saw it as well. But the Mummy sequels I really like. The Mummy's Tomb, the Mummy's Hand especially, the Mummy's Ghost, and the Mummy's Curse. So they have a kind of a formulaic pattern to them, but I really, really enjoyed the sequels to the Mummy. You wouldn't think I would, where I didn't like the first one as much, and it was one of the lesser ones. But this became one of my favorites. This became one of my go-tos, especially when I was watching the sequels. I would watch the Mummy's Hand. I watched the Mummy's Hand so many freaking times. And if you've watched Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy, is actually really good. I actually like that one. Oh, the sequels, Warm Strikes, are the reason to watch it. Hey, Tommy Films. There's some great stuff on there. It's a great documentary on there with David J. Schall, who does some great work. There's one commentary on here, and just some really cool stuff. So after that came out, then it came out on Blu-ray. Now there's a big 30 movie set that came out. I don't have that. It came out on DVD first, and this year it came out on Blu-ray. Now, my cousin Raj, he has the DVD edition of it, because he backs up all of his copies of his movies. He takes everything that he buys, and he makes like a digital copy of it, so that he's got a backup. I actually am. I'm a big Laurel and Hardy fan, so I'm tentatively looking forward to it. So, when the Universal Monsters collection came out, I knew that I wanted it. Now, this is one that my better half got me. Man, I miss her so much right now. And she had to choose between getting it from the US and getting it from the UK. And she did her research really well, because the UK edition of this one kicks the ass of the US edition. They do play it more like horror films. I think I can appreciate The Mummy much more now that I'm older. But when I was a kid, it wasn't like one of the most exciting movie to watch, right? So when this came out, I was super excited. I was kind of bummed that they didn't have the sequels or anything like that coming with them. I didn't know that they were going to be planning something down the road. So I got to take this one out because this is one of my favorites, and this is the UK edition. So anybody over in the UK, oh, Blood from the Mummy Tomb is excellent. Frankenstein series is your favorite? I'm actually going to leave what my favorite series is until the end of the video. And then I'm going, well, not the end of the video, but in this portion of the video. So this is the UK edition. I know it looks a lot like the US edition, but it's not. And I'll explain that. And I've shown this on here before. I got to make sure. Are you coming out? No. You're good. So as you can see, if you've got the North American edition, you know that you're missing the disc illustrations on all these. The Mummy Shroud. My favorite one is the Mummy sequels is the one, and nobody else likes it but me, but it's the one with the brothers, where there's two brothers in. I think the two brothers in the film. That's my favorite. So whichever one that is, I'm not sure which one that is. That's the thing. Like, yeah, I couldn't believe it because I'd seen the North American edition of this. And it was, that's another one I don't have. Is there a Phantom of the Opera set? Because I don't have that if there is. What's the best Hammer set to get? Are you looking for a Hammer horror? Because I'll tell you, like, if you want to get like some of the off the tracks Hammer stuff, the indicator sets are amazing. But there's a lot of good Hammer. So I'll look into the Hammer stuff over there before this video ends, and I'll try and give you kind of like an idea on that. So this one came here. It's just a single release. They didn't even put the other Phantom of the Opera on there as well. That's a shame. First 3 films. We got a lot of love for the for the Frankenstein series, right? No love for the Phantom of the Opera. You've got the indicator sets. The UK version is definitely the best one here. A lot of times you're gonna find out that if you're collecting region free, the UK sets are often the better sets to get. And I got some of the American releases, but yeah, there's a lot of really good ones. So tonight I was at my local Walmart, and I've been eyeing this up for a couple of days, and there was like 3 copies of it there. But when I went there tonight, there was only 1 copy left. So I knew I had to pick this up. And I've been wanting to see this. And what was really cool is that the features around this are actually really, really good. That's one of the creature art cards you got. So this is the Mummy Complete Legacy Collection. Hey Kenneth, how's it going? I am missing my better half like crazy. But we're doing a video. Now this is the first Legacy Collection Blu-ray set that I got. And I have to say, I'm in love with the look of these sets. I definitely want to get more of these. So I like the picture on it. It almost kind of comes out. It's almost like 3D-esque in the way that it's set up. So I'm going to open this up in front of you guys. Hope you guys don't mind. It has 6 films. So my Mummy set originally had 5 films. So I was kind of like, what's the 6th film? So actually it's Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy, which is really cool because I don't have any Abbott and Costello on Blu-ray. And I'm actually a huge fan of the Abbott and Costello film. And this is the only set that has the Abbott and Costello Blu-ray, Abbott and Costello movie on it. Like the other two, like Frankenstein, and they have like Abbott and Costello meet the, meet the monsters. That's it. I'm talking about some of my Bondians. So here we go. Oh, the texture on this is really, really nice, guys. I cannot lie. First time together in Blu-ray. I've seen these around places, so if I see any more of these, like Unboxing Day or anything like that, I'm definitely picking more of these up. It's got like a kind of a texture feel to it. This isn't like flat. Like this is embossed, but aside from that, there's kind of like a textured type of feel to it. This is kind of a more glossier, but it kind of comes out. You got the sets? Uh, oh, Isaac, sorry, man. Hopefully you get into to see the rest of this later on, and be here when I want to make my next video. So here we go, and be here for me and Jason when we do the stream. So this is the Mummy Complete Legacy Collection. Which we got to figure out how we're going to do, Jason. Last time we did this, there used to be a Google thing, remember? I did think about buying the complete Universal Monsters Blu-ray set, but I have this here, which includes the all the extra bonus things that are in the set, like the the book and the cards and stuff. So I kind of want to grab these on their own. I do like that, the idea of getting the Legacy collections on their own. It'll be my first like stream in a while, man. Like stream isn't like stream with another person, which I'm really going to enjoy. So let's open it up and see if the... Okay, so this is taken the way of the... pretty much of the way that the Universal ones would be over in North America. So this has the Mummy on its own there, and I love the fact that it has like the Karloff like mummy face there like that. That's the only one that really does that. Now the rest of them are kind of like double features. The Mummy's Hand, the Mummy's Tomb, the Mummy's Ghost, the Mummy's Curse. And ironically, the only other one that gets its own disc is Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy. Really surprised about that, actually. There's no booklet or anything inside, and no cards like there is in the UK editions. I think the UK edition had some cards in there. But 6 films with extra features. Now, as I said, if you're listening when I was actually reading at the features of the Mummy set, it listed one commentary for the film The Mummy. Now this one here actually has 2 feature commentaries on it. Mummy Dearest, a horror tradition unearthed, like was on the last one. There's the Life and Art of Jack Pierce, the guy that made the makeup. Unraveling the Legacy of the Mummy Archives, 2 feature commentaries, and of course the theatrical trailers for I think all of the films. Theatrical trailers are probably done in standard definition just to give you an idea of like the remastering that was done on this here. Now I gotta say, if you can get it with the slipcase as opposed to just regular, definitely get it with the slipcase. It really is super sexy and it feels super nice in your hand when you're holding it there. This is my favorite, my first. Hey Timmy, how's it going? This is my first of the Blu-ray editions of the Complete Legacy Classic Collections of Mummy, but it's definitely not going to be my last. I'm a completist, so this definitely means I'm going to be searching out the other ones. I know that the most expensive one and the hardest one to find lately has been the Creature from the Black Lagoon one. That has the 2 movies, like Creature from the Black Lagoon and Creature from Return of the Creature on... Oh man. See if you can find like another case. Is there cases.com or something like that? Now this one here from the UK, this one had the original Creature from the Black Lagoon in 3D. So I have watched it in 3D with my dad. All right, so before we go away from that, I'm going to give you guys my favorite series, Universal Monster. So out of all the Universal Monsters out there, it's so hard. Yeah, it would have been nice if they added a booklet, but again, it does look amazing, and I paid like $29 for it, so it's not too bad. So, my favorite. They did add the original edition from the Creature from the Black Lagoon Blu-ray set. Because, yeah, they made some serious mistakes with the transfers, and apparently one of the transfer mistakes that was made was a really bad one, which was on the Return of the Creature from the Black Lagoon. So Return of the Creature, they made a mistake on the 3D transfer of that. I think they got that worked out now, but originally for the first printing of it, there was an error. So if you got the first printing of it, you might want to just check it out just to make sure. I think they got it straightened away now, though. Oh, it definitely was a good deal, and I was super excited to pick it up. That's what I'm going to be watching the weekend, guys. Just to let you know, when I'm not on here, or I'm not like FaceTiming with my better half or anything like that, I'm watching The Mummy this weekend. I'm going to start with the original. I'm going to watch them all through, and then I'm going to watch the features as well. But what's my favorite? I go back and forth, and it's going to be like when I was younger, The Creature from the Black Lagoon was by far what was the king to me. I loved the film. I loved the special effects. I'm getting there. I I like the odd ones. I mean, I liked liked a lot of the Otter Frankenstein films. I was a really big fan of the Mummy sequels. Uh, but overall, this series, I think, that gave me the most enjoyment overall. And because I want to go for a complete like franchise series there, out of all of them. And this was really, really hard because Bride of Frankenstein is one of my favorite movies. Like, it's one of my favorite movies, especially like classic films. But to be completely honest, to talk to you in all sincerity, Dracula, the Dracula franchise, and one of my least favorite of the actual early films. So Dracula took me a long time to get into. Like the book, I was not a huge fan of the Bram Stoker novel when I originally read it. I actually was completely not into it, but I like the diversity of the Dracula films. I like the fact that we go from a supernatural film to what I would call a psychological horror with Daughter of Dracula. Then we dive right back into the supernatural with the Son of Dracula. And not only do that, but we dive back in a way that we're like testing we're testing new things. We're looking into different into all different types of effects and ways that you can go with things. The Christopher Lee Dracula films, but they don't count for the Universal stuff. But they're actually amazing. And Satanic Rites is okay too. But yeah, I love the Dracula films, and even like House of Dracula and stuff. Those were really fun. And even though it's called, was it Abbott Costello meet Frankenstein? It's really Dracula. He does really, he's the main mad scientist in that film, and he does a really good job. But yeah, I do. I got to say, I like the diversity of the Dracula films. If I was just going like the solid films altogether, the Frankenstein series is probably the most solid ones. How about Bram Stoker's Dracula? Can I be honest with you, Film Schlock? I didn't like it when I first saw it. I, in fact, really didn't like it. I liked aspects of it, but I was not a fan of. And I'll tell you right now, like one of the biggest things that I was not a fan of was Anthony Hopkins. Anthony Hopkins drove me nuts in Bram Stoker's Dracula. He just really chewed it up a lot. Like, I could take Keanu Reeves' lack of accent, or more than I could take Anthony Hopkins' portrayal of like Van Helsing. But at the end of the day, over time, much like many films that I went into and I originally just didn't necessarily like every aspect of, I did like certain aspects of it. I was a really big fan of the origin aspect of Dracula in Bram Stoker's Dracula. I liked the idea of him like being a warrior who lost everything and pretty much forsook God and forsook God. It was and I think that over the years I've grown to love it more, and for a lot of the reasons that Kubrick Lover just said there. The visuals on it are stunning. It is amazing visual production. The script is okay. Now Gary Oldman's amazing. He is incredible. Gary Oldman's incredible anyway, but Gary Oldman really plays the role well of the Count, and he goes from the different aspects of the Count. And there's a lot of things I think that Christopher Lee probably liked in the Gary Oldman's Bram Stoker's Dracula. Especially a lot of the aesthetics of the look of the de-aging of the Count as well, which is actually mentioned in the novel. So although it's much, even though it's called Bram Stoker's Dracula, there's a lot of it that is very different than the original Bram Stoker novel. It's actually very stylistic, and I can see why it's become a classic over the years. It wasn't the one that I grew up loving. I like Jace there. I grew up with a lot of the Hammer films, but it is my sisters. I have two younger sisters. That will be their Dracula. That will be the Dracula that they know. Now, the Dracula I grew up with, aside from the Hammer stuff, the one that I saw in the theater was Frank Langella. Oh, thank you. Right. the Frank Langella version of Dracula, I think, is criminally underrated. The set pieces in that film are incredible, and Frank Langella, like, who went on to play them, right? Great minds, right? Went on to play, like, who played him on stage, and actually, and people like, some people complained about the fangs, didn't even really think about it, the Universal films when there weren't fangs, but he just did such an amazing job in the role of the Count, and it has the creepiest Lucy, right? It's Lucy, that creep, the one that dies and comes back. I think it's Lucy, right? It's been a while, but she's so freaking creepy. Like they say, the one in Bram Stoker's is scary. Watch the one in Frank Langella's Dracula. And by the way, what a great cast. Oh, are you serious? I would love to get a really good remaster of that one, man. And it has, we got Donald Pleasance in this one. You got Laurence Olivier in the film. It is amazingly done. I saw it in theater, and some people didn't like the ending. I love the ending of the film. I love the boat and the big sequence. Yeah, Come With Me, Papa. It's kind of like Fry. When you think of that one, Mina. Thank you, Tim. It is Mina. Then I apologize. She's Van Helsing's daughter. Yeah. So what I love is I just love the way that that's done. The boat sequence at the end, I thought it was amazingly done. And they did almost kind of set up for a sequel. John Badham deserves much more respect for that film than he ever got. So hopefully they find a way to get like a, they really get the ability to do it down the road and actually get a good... I just couldn't get into the later Van Helsings. I like Anthony Hopkins. Like, when I don't have anything against Anthony Hopkins, Anthony Hopkins gets great respect from me for all he's done for my province and done for acting. He's the guy that paid to get like our acting students over from our university in Newfoundland over to London, and we've gotten a few people that have gone out there and done acting. And here, especially around Newfoundland, you get a lot more people that work in plays than you would like as opposed to like a lot of like movies and network television. You'll see them like come in some stuff, like people like Robert Joy, for instance, who I think he's Nova Scotian actually, but close. Or no, he's in Newfoundland. I can't remember right now. Anyway, I got distracted again. Sorry. So I got some more stuff to show you guys. I got some more classic stuff there. We're gonna look at some Blu-rays, some DVDs. Dracula's Daughter, Van Helsing is renamed Von Helsing. Yeah. I love Dracula's Daughter. If you haven't seen it in a while, if you haven't seen it all, and like, it's a really good film. And originally, they were supposed to have Bela Lugosi in it, but things happen. Now, ensemble cast of famous actors doesn't guarantee a great film. Though, think about it. It did in Frank Langella's. But definitely rewatch Dracula's, Dracula's Daughter, Dracula, whatever. Rewatch it. So if you got the set, you've got the Dracula set, definitely rewatch that film. It's really, really good. It's criminally underrated. Yeah, I think he still did get paid, but they didn't use him, and it's really good actually that they didn't use him, because it was with him in there. There would have been like an even larger shadow looming over this, and it did go in a very different direction than the original film. That's right. Mel Gibson started in the band too, didn't he? Actually, I like that movie. I'm not gonna lie, I did like the movie. So, normally I go to the DVDs and then go to the Blu-rays, but I'm going to do it opposite this time. And there's a reason for that. So, classics. They're not always monster films, but sometimes they're just really, really good older films. And there's this one. This is the original anthology film. Dead of Night freaked me out. It may seem silly now if you've seen it like years later, but look right here. What you see right here. The man and his dummy, that creeped me out so much. Thank you. Creepiest dummy ever. Thanks a lot. I love this movie. Now there is a kind of a Not a really making of, like kind of like a remembering the other night featurette on this. This runs like pretty much almost the same length of the movie. It's 75 minutes long. Like the werewolf genre. I actually keep going to do film stock, a werewolf-centric video, and I never get around to it. I actually got to do that sometime. But if you've never seen Dead of Night, really, I do recommend it. Andy, I recommend this one. It's now remember, it's an older film, and a lot of films have taken the tropes from this one and done them later on. But it's kind of like the original anthology film. You know, we got like Alec Guinness, Peter Sellers in this. Michael Redgrave is the chilling performance. Definitely worth checking out. Late Phase. I love Wolf Cop. Wolf Cop's Canadian. Late Phases is amazing. I love Late Phases. That's just a great film. So here are some of the here are some Hammer films that I got. Now I've already shown the Indicator stuff many times, so I thought I'd leave that over there for now. But I wanted to show some of the kind of the individual Hammer Blu-ray releases that I do have, and some that I definitely recommend. And this one right here is the 3-disc set for Dracula. And there is like a newer edition, like Horror Dracula, but apparently it's not as good as this set, the new one that came out originally. It's got a better cover, but if you go on that alone, okay. See, now, yeah, exactly. This is a really great set. And look at the features, guys. So let me just like get this here. So we got the BFI 2007 restoration, the 2012 Hammer restoration, new audio commentary, Portmanteau. Yeah, that's what they call them, the Portmanteau anthology. We also got like the DVD of it, but we have like this second special features disc, Dracula Reborn, Resurrecting Dracula, Censoring Dracula, The Demon Lover, all 4 surviving Japanese reels from the Japanese edition. The World of Hammer, Dracula and the Undead, Janine Fay, Reed Stoker at the Vaudeville Festivals. There's just a ton of features on this here. There's even DVD-ROM features as well. So I'll open it up here. And, you know, it's pretty standard. It's like, you get like, it's a 3-disc set. You got the films on the Blu-ray. You got a special Terror Trains Come From Scorpion. Yeah, it is actually. Not well. I'm fairly blind, like without my glasses. And that, now, you know, and in a more vain aspect of it, I don't really look that good with my glasses on. So we'll go with that one too. But it doesn't really matter. I'm getting older, so looking passable is good enough for me. As long as my better half finds me attractive, that's what I like. Hey, Elvin. Are there any Criterion releases from Blu-ray of horror films that come to mind? Not of older horror films. Yeah, I mean, like stuff like Vampire was one. Phantom Carriage was another one. I don't have them. That's why I don't have them here to show you. But those two, like specifically, are ones that I would definitely look into. Oh, something came out. Before I go any further, I got to say this. It's totally off topic, but I don't know if anybody grabbed this or not. But they put out a really nice Studio Ghibli My Neighbor Totoro edition. Totally off topic, I know. But it's a really sexy looking edition. It's been at Walmart for like $39, and I've been looking at it and eyeing it since it came there the other day. It looks really amazing. Oh yeah, Kubrick Lover does some amazing videos there. So if you haven't checked him out, he's not just somebody on here. He is somebody that has a very cool channel that you need to check out. So next up here is The Mummy. See, look, this is My Neighbor Totoro. So there's a new special edition of Kubrick Lover. Did you see it? Did you get it yet? It looks awesome, man. Oh, the whole Dark House is a really good release too. I don't have that one yet, and that's one that I do have to pick up. It's true, Kubrick Lover. You do some great stuff. You want to push the Blu-ray? Oh, really? So there, you even do you like First Man into Space? I do. I like a lot of the cheesier stuff, the fun stuff. I know I gotta get it. It's a really cool edition. I'm so far behind with some of the UK. I had planned to get more UK releases this year, but because the postal strike that completely changed what I was gonna get for Christmas. I had like a lot of Vinegar Syndromes. I was gonna get a bunch of UK stuff, like When a Stranger Calls, all that type of stuff. When Stranger Calls is one of my favorite movies. When Stranger Calls Back is even better. Oh yeah, Walmart. I picked up well, I didn't pick it up yet. I want to pick it up. I'm going to look at my better half when she comes home and I'll be like, and see if that works. My Neighbor Totoro is one of my favorite like animated films of all time. It is really, really is. And the thing is, there's no villains in it really. It's a nice character. It's a Studio Ghibli, and it's my favorite Studio Ghibli. Yeah. The Innocent Side, that's more classic, I guess, than Rosemary's Baby and the Prude. Well, what I would think classic. But you're right, actually. But no, it's a big like set. Let me see. I took a picture of it from my better half. Maybe I can show you on here. It's a. I do apologize that my that it won't be the greatest. Like so. Hey, whoa, Moods, how's it going, man? He's cause you ordered Dead the Night for real. So no, you're not probably not into this, Moods, but this is My Neighbor Totoro, and this is a huge. This is a new Blu-ray set. It's huge. As you can see, it's much bigger than a regular Blu-ray, and it comes in like a kind of a 40-page hardcover book and a soundtrack and all that. Oh, you're from Toronto? The postal strike was killing me, man. But welcome, Moods. Moods is another guy with a fantastic channel on here, by the way. So Totoro is an amazing, and it's a lot of like the sickness of like Strangler of the Swamp, One Who Came Back. Not yet. I want them. The thing is that in about 3 to 4 years, I'll be moving over to Morocco, and for me to shop then, I'll have to go to the UK. So if any of my friends here that watch from the UK, you may see me sometime. Because I plan on like flying over and buying my movies from there. So that's and it's only like a 3 or 4 hour flight from Morocco, so it's not really not that expensive either. So it's actually pretty inexpensive to go in and do some movie shopping there. Oh, yeah, I know. Is it Ottawa for you two, Moods? Because with me, like I ordered a bunch of stuff from Amazon, right? And I've gotten most of it now. But what happens is it hits Ottawa. And as soon as it hits Ottawa, I get may be caused by a weather delay or severe weather. Like I'm like, no, there's no weather delay. My sister's in Ottawa. I'm from Casablanca. My better half was born in Casablanca. That's not a lie, actually. Her sister lives there right now. I'll be in Marrakesh, but I'll be traveling back and forth to Casablanca, areas like that. Yeah, it definitely is, because it seems like maybe it's because Moods, and I'm going to say this, when they got mandated back, I'm thinking there's a lot more angry postal workers in Ottawa than anywhere else, and that's slowing it down. Oh, Humphrey, I love Return to Dr. X. That's one I don't have, but I need to get. Hey, have a good lunch, man. But the Mummy set, again, great set. If you guys haven't got this one, what I love about this one here, great name for a movie or something, is that this takes all the best aspects of every one of the Mummy films that came out from Universal and puts them all together and adds Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee. And of course, the classic Michael Ripper, who's in all of the Hammer films. So, again, great stuff on here. Now, again, a bunch of features on here as well. Unwrapping the Mummy, World of Hammer, Hammer Star, Peter Cushing, stuff like that. New Hammer, House of Horrors, Memories of Bryce. So just some really... Oh, your brother lives in Gander? I actually lived... Mike River rocks. I actually lived in... well, not in Gander, but I lived in St. John's. If you've seen a lot of my earlier videos, that's actually where they're set, where I'm at the times in St. John's. I was born in Corner Brook, Newfoundland, and lived in Ontario and Alberta and here. And eventually, I guess I'll be moving international. So there you go. But yeah, this is a fantastic film. Really, really good Hammer film. Next up, I probably should have done this one before, but this is The Curse of Frankenstein. Now again, this what's really cool. This one actually has a second movie on it. So I actually really like this cover. It almost seems kind of copy-pasted together, but there's something kind of like about it that I just really enjoy. See new subscribers. Yeah, if you guys are not subscribed to Kubrick Lover and Moods, definitely get there, subscribe. Jace too. Jace does stuff. So, hey, check out the people on here, and you're gonna find a lot of really good people doing videos. It was so cool, Mike. The Mummer Hammer film. The Mummer. There's the film I'm gonna make. That's what I'm thinking. See, I'm from Newfoundland, and mummering is a huge thing over here in over Newfoundland, right? I'm not sure how big it is over in in the other areas, but mummering is basically the idea. Exactly, but is that the people like dress up and they wear like masks and like they put like pillowcases over their head and they wear like kind of like cross dress and all this type of stuff and they go and knock on people's doors, right? And they go into their houses and you know they ask for food and alcohol around Christmas time and people like let them in and they do a dance and they get a drink. So I thought, wouldn't it be awesome? Please don't steal this idea. is if there was a psychotic. Yeah, actually, the Mummer's Dance would definitely come from that. If there was like, it's it's that time of year, and you set it back around in the 80s, and there's somebody going around that's actually a killer, and is going from house to house, is joining up with other groups of mummers, and people don't realize that he's psychotic. You'd have to set it back like during like the dead of winter, or just around right after Christmas. I set it in kind of in a rural area where it would be kind of cut off. Where like because where I lived, we didn't have like a police station. There's a police station, but 45 minutes to an hour away. Yeah, it is kind of like trick or treating with alcohol, Tim. But a lot of like teenagers would do it because it'd be a way to get beer, and we'd let it go through. Stranger. Yeah, a lot of people wouldn't actually, but I think that's why you set it back in the day at a time when people would. One, because there's no cell phones or any of that stuff to get in the way. Two, you set it in a more isolated area, an area where that type of thing wouldn't normally happen, and you wouldn't be so easy to get to somebody that would be able to help you out. So yeah, it's a neat little idea, and I'm kind of working on it. I've worked on it for a while now. I'm trick-treating for Coors beer. Really? Are you serious? Your dad rocks, man. I'm not sure if I'd go for Coors, but but yeah, there's a few. Well, no, actually I do like Coors, but with lime, because I'm pretentious. But yes, the Curse of Frankenstein actually has a second film on it called The Four-Sided Triangle, which is actually a really good, like, I liked that anyway. So it's a fairly decent, like, Hammer sci-fi film. So I got a couple more here to show you guys. Of course, not much. Okay, it's Captain Clegg. Again, Peter Cushing. Not so much a horror film. This is kind of like an adventure style film. I did really like this one. It did kind of like creep me out when I was a kid. It's got a making of on here as well, and it actually has a neat commentary, I think, too. It's a commentary. But love the Captain Clegg one. One of my favorite like vampire films of all time, right, for Hammer especially, is Kiss the Vampire. I think this one's really, really good. This doesn't have Peter Cushing or Christopher Lee, and it's amazing. It is a highly, when I think about underrated films, this one is definitely underrated. Definitely check this one out. If you like Bride of Dracula, for instance, this is definitely in that style of vein, and it's pretty much like pretty adult for its time period. The one with the bat attack, yeah, actually, Wolf. That's the bat attack is really cool in this. Hey, Need, how's it going, man? Need Gore, don't we all? Now, what's cool about this one is there is a U.S. edition of this film as well, but it is missing the commentary on here. This is the only edition that has the commentary, and I think this is probably by First Run, right? Final Cut, sorry. Final Cut. What is First Run? Maybe I made that up, that company. Maybe there's no company called First Run. Final Cut's the company we're talking about. Final Cut also did this one here. Oh yes, I'm gonna do Tim like a one on Christmas horror. You got some good watching, man. Pete, you got some good watching, Eddie. Or Peter. Some people don't like to have their name shortened. Phantom of the Opera. Originally was supposed to star Cary Grant. I didn't do it, and I like this. Some people are like don't I really, really like this. I love Herbert Lom, actually. I'm a big fan of Herbert Lom. I think he's a fantastic writer. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Cary Grant. Yeah. Cary Grant was originally supposed to be in this. Like, the reason that there's a kind of the Phantom of the Opera is like there's a different killer, like kind of I'm talking about the other killer, in this film here is because. Hey, Corey. Hey, there's another person whose channel you should be checking out. I think he would have done okay. He wanted to change his image a bit in this. He wanted to do this. His agent, I don't think would let him. But when they did it, they changed changed it a bit to put like kind of like an assistant for the Phantom of the Opera. So if Cary Grant had done the film, it was a way to like to kind of like just to make to not to hurt Cary Grant's image so much, as like it would be so that he wouldn't be completely unrepentant. Like keep the blood off of his hands. Yeah, Suspicion's a great film. So I was asked earlier about like Criterion, and I did mention a couple Blu-rays, but Criterion actually put out an amazing classic horror DVD set. Yeah, exactly. And that's this one here, Monsters and Mayhem. If you don't have this one, a lot of people, this flies under a lot of people's radar when the Criterion sales come up. And I think the only reason it does fall under the radar is because it's DVD and not Blu-ray. If this was a Blu-ray set, everybody would have this in their collection. But this is a really, really good DVD set. And there's one film specifically that stands out. So this is the Criterion, like kind of like a sci-fi horror set that they did. And it has, thanks John. Oh, John, you're here. I think somebody said John earlier and I was coming. Is John Steele here? It gets even better, John. It is so cool. So this is the Atomic Submarine, right? You weren't wild about it? This is one of my favorites, Kubrick Love, right? It's one I rewatch. So it's got the Atomic Submarine, which is okay, kind of a fun film. I love these cases, by the way. And it also has First Man into Space, which somebody actually mentioned. And when you open it up, it has like a huge booklet, like, you know, definitely pretty big for its time, especially for nowadays. The Atomic Submarine, they're fun. And what's super cool here is that they each come on their own disc, but these aren't the best of the films that are in the set, as Kubrick Lover does know. The best of the films in this set are about to come up. And we have Corridor of Blood, which I do really like, but the absolute best film that I think should be in everyone's collection, I'm not going to lie to you, and so with Kubrick Lover, he's seen this, so we know what you think. The Haunted Strangler. This is one of my favorite roles by Boris Karloff. I remember my dad having the VHS of this, and we both fell in love with the movie. We both really enjoyed, really loved the film. Oh, I love stuff like Blood on Satan's Cloud. The Wicker Man is a favorite of mine, the original, and Witchfinder General, I have like 2 or 3 editions of that because I like it so much. The Haunted Strangler, if you haven't seen it, please see this movie. It's really good. Boris Karloff does an incredible job in that film. And I think Quarters of Blood, if I remember, it's been a while since I've seen it. I think it's Christopher Lee, right? So yeah, so we got the cast here. So The Haunted Strangler, we got like Boris Karloff, Anthony Dawson is in this one here. I think a lot of it comes to, I may share a lot of my dad's taste because he's like, he showed me a lot of these films, and everything from like, you know, Hammer horror to some of the classic stuff to even some Russ Meyer and stuff like that, you know, and Tintel Brass. My dad would have introduced me to. Verday is in this one here. Boris Karloff, of course, is in Quarters of Blood. Yeah, Christopher Lee is in. I knew Christopher Lee was in this one. Oh, we'll catch you later. I'll catch you very soon, Jace. Actually, this is going to be a shorter video too tonight, I think, because I'm actually feeling kind of tired. I watched I couldn't sleep last night. I had insomnia, right? So I watched 3 series of the IT Crowd. I love that show. Do you know what's a really good show, an Australian show? And it's on Netflix right now, and I recommend that you watch it. I've worked in retail before. And I've worked many crappy jobs. Whether you work retail or not, if you've ever worked a crappy job, there's a show called Roasted On. And if you've never seen it, it's a dead-on like dead on for retail life. So if you ever worked retail, if you worked a crappy job, you'll understand it. Exactly. Yeah, well, 7 Minutes only had the DVD release with the Arrow edition, right? So get into some of these other sets. Roaster Dawn. Roaster Dawn is an Australian comedy show. I think they had 7 episodes so far. It was an indie comedy, so it was done like without any networks, and it was done on the internet. And later on, it got picked up by Netflix, and I think they're working on a second series right now. It got a lot of really bad reviews when it came out, but I thought it is a roastered, ROSTRED, being on a roaster. 2 words, Roaster Dawn. So I think it was done by, oh God, who did it? It's an Australian show. You can find it on Netflix. Definitely check it out. So one of the first Vincent Price sets I got, before I got the big sets that came out, was this one right here. It's the MGM Scream Legends collection. Great movies. Somebody just mentioned this one here, Witchfinder Generals on this one here. We got Tales of Terror and Twice Told Tales. Great, great films there. The Bomb with Dr. Phibes and Dr. Phibes Rises Again. Theater of Blood, which is one of my personal favorites. And again, another one of my personal favorites is Madhouse, which I think not enough people talk about. This is a really cool set. Not a lot of features on it. Like they did do a bonus disc with the things like Vincent Price, Renaissance Man, The Art of Fear, and Working with Vincent Price. But it's really cool the way they were done. They were, the MGM releases were kind of like put together. Unfortunately, these are all like double-sided discs. So most of these are ones that I have upgraded. I do need to get Madhouse, so it's a really good film. Peter Cushing in that one as well. So around the same time that I bought that, I actually picked up this as well, and that one is the Fly collection. So again, huge fan of the classic Fly series, even though this actually does creep me out a little bit. It had like all 3 films, and Curse the Fly, which I think is kind of fun. It has this like bonus disc, which is really cool, because that's something on this that should have been on the Vincent Price disc set. And this is the 1997 Vincent Price biography, which came on A&E. So that was really cool to have that alone. That would have been like, even if I'd had the Fly movies already, I did want the Vincent Price biography. Yeah, and that's really cool that the actually has the set, like the set gives you some neat different stuff. Curse the Fly, I love this. I love the old covers and cases. Like this is super cheesy. Curse the Fly is a super cheesy film, but I love it. So now we're getting into some ones that I would consider to be kind of like classic. I'm going to leave those for last though. But first off, there was the Fox Horror Classics collection. Now we have on this one here The Lodger, The Undying Monster in Hanover Square, which The Lodger I think is definitely probably the most like horror. The Undying Monster is too. Now the second set was called the Fox Horror Classics collection, but I'll be honest with you, there's one on it that's horror, and there's a couple that really aren't. Oh, this is a Blu-ray box. Oh, definitely check out The Haunted Strangler. Let me know what you think of it, by the way. So this is the second Fox Horror Classics collection. As you can see, it has Shandu the Magician, Dragonwyck, which I would not consider a horror film, but it's a good film, and Dr. Renault's Secret. Now, Dr. Renault's Secret is probably, oh, thanks. It's probably the one that's the most like horrific film in the set. So definitely they're both worth owning though. Great stuff in all of these. Now I got a few more to show you guys. I won't like bore you guys for too long here. But there's the Inner Sanctum Mysteries, the complete movie collection. So basically there's a radio series used to come on called Inner Sanctum, and they made a series of like kind of like B grade or almost Z grade like films with Lon Chaney Jr. in them. Really fun films, so actually really kind of cool. Some are better than others. We got like the Calling Dr. Death, and you gotta love the names for these films. Weird Woman, Dead Man's Eyes, The Frozen Ghost, Strange Confessions, Pillow of Death. So again, really cool. I like the way this is done too. I've always loved the set. Darkness, Death, and Dementia, the Inner Sanctum Mysteries. I really like these. It's probably not my best like voicing for it. This one's really cool. This is one that I picked up when I first got to St. John's, and when my oldest actually was staying with me at the time, because I was out there like looking for like just started a new job. Universal put out these. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's a franchise collection. So yeah, that is Universal. So next up, I had this one here. It was the Universal Horror Classic Movie Archive. It's really cool. I love the movies on this. So the Black Cat, I really love the Black Cat. Bela Lugosi, Basil Rathbone, great movie. Man-Made Monster, I enjoy. Horror Island, actually also really cool. I actually really liked Horror Island. I didn't think I was going to. Night Monster, and of course Captive Wild Women. So a really good set. And the really good thing about these movies is they're never too long. They're actually oh really? Chiller TV? Yeah, it would fit because it is definitely a shorter one. And next up is the Bela Lugosi collection. Children of the Night, what music they make. Oh, they had some great stuff, especially with the early Warren Roland stuff. Sidney Toler was amazing, Charlie Chan too, but they definitely went for more of a, it seemed more of like a serious, kind of a darker tone when they did the Oland ones. Show TV is no more, it's not. Neither is our Scream TV over here in Canada, which was a really good channel before it became dusk. Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely less than 90 minutes. A lot of them would run could run somewhere around like 60 to 65 minutes, and it was actually really kind of neat things that they get so much put into like so short period of time. Like most of the films I'm about to show you here will run from like an hour to 79 minutes. So this one right here has like Murders in the Rue Morgue, the Black Cat, the other Black Cat. The budgets were good for the original Toller films, like the kind of the Fox ones. But Toller bought out the rights afterwards, and he made his own films, which were still interesting. They were still good, but the budgets were very significantly lower once that happened. You lost the #1 son. You put in like more comic relief. And it was definitely done on a lower budget. I'll do like a Charlie Chan video for you guys down the road. I actually am a huge Charlie Chan fan, and I started out like doing reviews of every single Charlie Chan movie in the box set. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it was early on, and not a lot of people watch them, so I didn't keep doing them. Keep up doing them. Yeah, exactly. They could put like in a B film movie, a newsreel, a cartoon, serial, which I do. Like I told you guys, I do here at the house. We got the Black Cat, the Raven, the Invisible Ray, Black Friday, so really good stuff. Just a couple more to show you guys. First up is the Karloff and Lugosi set. That was at least a couple years ago, maybe 2 years ago, 2 to 3 years. I did them in my house in St. Oh, definitely maybe more than that, in St. John's, and I didn't have a lot of viewers at the time. But one of my ways that I thought, okay, I'll up my viewership and maybe people will watch if I do more reviews. My better half kept telling me that that my niche was in actually reviewing stuff, because I would talk about and like give suggestions for films and people and film ideas. Yeah, everything that I've ever done is still should be on YouTube, unless except for a couple of Nintendo things that I did which got striked, and had to take those off. So they should still be up there. I'm not quite sure how good they are right now, but I did enjoy doing them. I actually had what I would do is I had my TV right in the background, and I'd have the screen with the Charlie Chan screen, the menu screen playing in the background. But yeah, my better half always thought that I should be more of a reviewer on here, as opposed to like just doing unboxings and stuff like that. Because she said, obviously you can't unbox every day, but you can put a lot more into it with reviews. And I tried that, and it was okay. My youngest just had a final today, so that was who messaged me just now. Was Wesley. So, but yeah, so this one here, Karloff and Lugosi, has The Walking Dead, Frankenstein 1970, which is the one I wanted for, You'll Find Out, and Zombies on Broadway. So some super cheese. You're considering buying the female prisoners. Oh, right, there's a sale going on in Arrow. I was going to talk about that, actually. There's an Arrow sale going on right now. Do you guys know about that? Like, it's so cool, isn't it? Oh, Criterion just announced some releases. There's some news, which I will get to. Karloff and Lugosi said this is probably the least of the sets that are out there. It's fun. It's definitely not the best films. But Frankenstein 1970 is one that I liked when I was younger. So definitely one I had to pick up. Yeah, I've heard about that. I want to say this. I'm sending off a message to my All right, I got two more here to show you guys. So there is the Boris Karloff collection. Really nice set. I love the way this is done. Actually, I'll actually take this one out. So as you can see, it's got the... So what's on this one? We got some classics. We've got Night Key, Tower of London, which is a fantastic film, The Climax, The Strange Door, and The Black Castle. Again, some great stuff. Oh, worst thing about taking something out is getting it back in. 60 pounds, but it's 30 pounds on eBay. That's interesting to check out. Is it 60 pounds, really? That's not... Arrow usually has like really good sales. Their last sale was freaking incredible. It's a sale of the year. With like limited editions that were out of print from before and stuff like that. Definitely the sale of the year last was Arrows. So, great films that end up in this one on here is the Boris Karloff Icons of Horror Collection. So, really great stuff. We got the Black Room here, The Man They Could Not Hang. I really like that film a lot, actually. Before I Hang. There you go. 2 hanging films right there. And The Boogeyman Will Get You. Ooh, I'm so tempted. So, and of course, this one is done with the... are these double discs, or... Actually, put them on... I prefer them like this than I would prefer them like kind of like flipper discs. I was never a huge fan of flipper discs, guys. But somebody asked me early on, if they're still here or not, what is a really good Hammer set to get? So I'm just gonna go over there for 1 second. I'll be right back. And some people are like kind of dying off in this video right now, so maybe I should end it soon. I'll be right back. So, getting started with Hammer stuff. One of the better Hammer sets to collect. There's a couple. There's one Warner one. If you don't have it, I'm going to bring it up here. And I do not have it. My dad, of course, has it. If you saw my video recently when I was at my dad's. then you know the one I'm talking about. And one that I definitely recommend everybody should have. How much is it now? $80. Okay, hopefully it goes cheaper than that. And it has 4 movies, and it's this one right here. Snape's Hammer. So The Mummy, Taste the Blood of Dracula. My dad used to have a big movie collection, but over the years, the Cubic Lover, he's actually kind of like pared it down to what he really, really likes. He has a really good like out of print like collection stuff that a lot of people can't get. And I think it's The Evil. No, Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed. Really, really good Frankenstein film. So Frankenstein's Risen from the Grave, Dracula's Risen from the Grave, and Dracula, Taste Blood Dracula, The Mummy, and Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed are all on this set here. But for me, what I want, the first one that I went and grabbed is this one right here. This is the Hammer Horror 8 film collection. This is actually a really good set. This came out originally on DVD with a very different cover, actually a superior cover in my opinion. This is a much more patchwork together cover, but this is actually a really good release for these films. And what are the 8 films on here? Some of them you've actually seen from my video right there. So there's Brides of Dracula, which is a really, really good film. If you haven't seen Brides of Dracula, that is a must. In the classic, we have Curse of the Werewolf, Night Creatures, Phantom of the Opera, which I showed you over there, Paranoiac, The Kiss of the Vampire, which I also have over there on Sewn, Nightmare, and The Evil of Frankenstein. It's a really good cross-section of Hammer, but there is one Hammer box set that's a lot better. I don't have it downstairs here right now, but it is the Hammer, like the box, basically. It has like, I think 21 or 22 Hammer films on it, and if you ever get a chance to get it, pick it up. It really is worth it. There is a ton of movies on there. There's commentaries, there's features. It goes everywhere from like Demons of the Mind to She, just a lot of really good stuff. You don't like the Lon Chaney one? Oh, it's classic. That the scene where he goes to like, and it's just his hand. He goes to take something out. That's the longest print available. Yeah, I haven't bought any German releases, to be honest with you. I really should get into that. I know like a lot of my friends got like the German release. I think Moods actually has a few of the German releases as well. You know, definitely check his channel. He's got like, I got a lot of stuff. Moods has a lot of like horror, like a lot of like, it's really really impressive. The way Cubic Lover does classic stuff, Moods does horror stuff. So there you go. JC Horseshoe, hey, there's sad that Scream Factory got the rights to. I don't think it's that bad. See, I think people are over going with the cost of what it is right now. I mean, obviously, I would like the Scream Factory releases to be cheaper than they are right now. But like when I started buying Scream Factory was when they came out, and that was a few years back. So prices, you know, have definitely gone up for companies like Scream Factory when it comes to doing some of that stuff. The only thing I'm sad about is they're releasing a lot of the stuff, some stuff that I've already gotten. Like I bought the Millennium release of Dracula Prince of Darkness. It is an amazing release for Dracula Prince of Darkness. I swear, guys, if you ever get the chance to get it, definitely pick it up. You only have one Shout Factory? They have some great stuff. I mean, like I did a video here. If you never saw it before, I'm pretty sure you're here. Where I showed off my Shout Factory. Showed my Shout Factory, Scream Factory stuff, and one of the things I showed was the Shout Select line, and that's a really good line. Fargo, you need the Robert Mitchum double feature with what's it, Murder My Lovely, Murder My Sweet. What's it called again? The Big Sleep. Something like it's a double feature. But I definitely get that one. Get that double feature. It's really good. But yeah, that's I think Scream Factory is getting, you know, they're. How many DVDs, Blu-rays, 4Ks would you say you have in your collection? What do you think? Like this is just the movie portion of my collection. I also have like the DVDs, the TV section, which is another room in and of itself. So that's another thing to look into. I have like a TV section as well, and thousands, you know, somewhere in the thousands. I think I stopped the counting at around 4,000 or something like that. Trust me, I don't have as many as a lot of people have. That's for sure. But I am proud of the stuff that I've managed to acquire over the years. And as I was saying with Scream Factory, yes, some of them are a little bit more expensive, but like the Some of them like go on the shy, like if you pre-order them, I find that you can actually usually get like a decent price on all the Scream Factory stuff. Like which film like that I own do I like the least? Probably the Rob Zombie like like Halloween films. If I was like to think of something, or maybe Black Christmas. Like no, actually I kind of dig the Black Christmas remake for the horribleness that it is. It's not a good film at all. But probably Halloween 2 by Rob Zombie. The Halloween 2 by Rob Zombie is probably the worst film in my collection, as in like an actual like film. Like others, I've got worst made films. Things is a worst made film, but it's an enjoyable film. So and I don't want to hate on Rob Zombie because I do like some of his stuff. It's just that particular film that he did, I really didn't like. Yeah, exactly. Everyone has different tastes, and that's the cool thing. Like, whereas the Rob Zombie Halloween 2, that's one of the worst in my collection. For some people, that's going to be one of the best. Like that has a huge cult following, and I don't get it. But when I say, well, I don't get it, they're like, well, we completely get it, and here's why. So I don't think there's any film that I'll ever like just like really down on, because some film is somebody's favorite film. And the idea behind this channel is let you find, not to give you, just to give you my favorite films, but to hopefully give enough interest for you to go and find your favorite films. Now, a lot of people on here are already cinephiles. They're collecting, they get a lot of stuff. Now, but what's really exciting is when I get somebody and they'll come on here and they'll say, I didn't see this movie before, or I never like thought of like collecting these type of films before, and all of a sudden they start collecting them and then they're really enjoying them. Over the last couple of years, Vinegar Syndrome is a company that I was able to bring out to certain people that had never even thought about getting Vinegar Syndrome before. They really thought it was all porn. That's what they thought it was. Oh, Vinegar Syndrome must be just adult stuff. But no, there was so much more, and so many people weren't aware of that fact. But I do take pride in the fact that I was able to, like, for certain people, I was able to get them into, they would tell me, like, yes, I bought Vinegar Syndrome because I watched you watched your videos. So that's always a source of pride for me. But yeah, so like, I said, like, some movies is somebody's favorite movie. There's my happy, cheery thing to say for today. See, I don't think so, Tim. I mean, like back then, look at this year, the 2018. If you look at the year of 2018 for Vinegar Syndrome, it was definitely Vinegar Syndrome's year of horror. Look at the releases that, especially the later half of 2018, the releases they put out are strongly horror all across the board. And like, just to think about how in tune I must be in some ways with Vinegar Syndrome is, I've often spoken on my channel, the Paul Naschy Scream Factory collections, I need those. Recommend them to me. I actually, those are on my Christmas list from my better half. I don't know if I get them this year, but I definitely, my dad has them, of course. My dad's a huge Naschy fan. He actually, I'm looking forward to all three of those, actually. I try not to be skeptical, but I get let down a lot. The Pet Sematary one looks amazing. Suspiria looks like it's going to be fun. It doesn't look like it's going to be Suspiria, but it looks like it's going to be fun. And I really want to see if Jordan Peele's behind the Candyman one. I think they'll do a good job with it. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, so there's nothing out there. Yeah, they gave you Cutting Class, and also there's nothing out there, by the way. Is one that I showed on my channel several times and said somebody needs to put out a Blu-ray if there's nothing out there. This is a really good film. This is a pre-Scream meta horror film that not a lot of people have seen or heard about. January set of the Vinegar Syndrome stuff there's nothing out there, and I do recommend the film. I'm not sure what features they're going to do on it. Like, they'll probably use a lot of features from Troma, and hopefully they'll get some new features on there as well. I haven't checked into the feature aspect of it, but I've shown that one on here a lot. Cutting Class, you can do. Come on, can you really do it with Cutting Class? With Brad Pitt and Donovan Leitch and Leitch, and of course Leitch, and the beautiful Joe Sholin and Martin Mull, and that line, "Hey, Are you cutting class? Doesn't give away anything, but once you know that line, you know that line. I'm getting my bubbly gone. I wonder if Nicole and Kyle are like. Oh, there's nothing out there. It's Trauma. It's just something that Trauma put out. What covers? It's just something that Trauma put out. Like Trauma doesn't make all the films that Trauma does. Trauma like they make films so that they can buy other films and they can release it under the Trauma label. There's nothing out there was made by Rolf Koninsky, and good film director, good filmmaker by the way, and he and it's actually real. It has little to do with Trauma. They just put it out. Same like they were the first people to release Stendhal Syndrome over in North America. Not a really good release of it though, but they did put it out. So there you go, guys. That is classic horror we talked tonight. Mausoleum, Pets, Sweet Sugar, Wonder Woman, The Undertaker, Liquid Sky, The Hearst. You can get into. Those are really good releases. And by the way, if you haven't seen Psycho Cop Returns, actually it's really funny, and I do recommend it. Do you ever think they release Volume 2 of Return to Nukem High? I don't know. I was there when they did Volume 1, when they premiered it in Montreal, actually. Do you have any videos of the cliffhanger series? I've only got one cliffhanger right now, which is Adventures of Captain Marvel. I really need sugar cookies. I really want. I'm a really huge Lynn Lowry fan, and I like that style of like one person takes over another person type. I got to get. There's a movie called Scalpel. It's a really good Arrow, released from Arrow. So, what does everybody think about the Django thing? Because Sugar Hill is awesome. A bit though, Arrow put out this like amazing release of it, and Blue Underground like made him like. I'm a huge fan of Django, and I had the Blue Underground edition. I actually loaned it to a friend of mine, and I never actually ended up getting it back because I would keep forgetting to get it from Django. Not a big Western. Oh come on, Westerns, classics, Tim, especially stuff like Django. But the fact that like Blue Underground is saying they got the rights, and Arrow said that that they were pretty sure that they had the rights. I'm hoping that we're going. This is one time that I'm hoping that I definitely hope Arrow's gonna win this one, and we're gonna see like that one released. Yeah, the Blue Underground one is definitely not as good as it's an okay release, but it's not gonna be. It's not. There's nothing on it, but there's really hardly any features. Do I think who do I think is in the right? I think that they both maybe are well-meaning, but I do think Arrow is. I think Arrow might be in the right with this. I don't think Arrow at all. This isn't an 88 Films thing or a Code Red thing where basically the new Django films are already becoming unavailable and going for insane prices on eBay. Like sit back a bit. Don't jump on the eBay stuff train right now. Wait and see what happens with Django. That's the thing. The edition that Arrow put out is supposed to be the superior edition, but Blue Underground is stopping them. Now, what Blue Underground could do is you could go and get a remaster of it done. What's it called? Django. That's it. Like Django. It's the original film with the original actor. And I'm a huge fan of that film. So I was really pissed with Blue Underground for that. And Blue Underground like ended this year. And I don't think they've been dropping off because this year they've been really doing like right at the end of the year they really came back. Captain Clegg's definitely a fun one. I like some weird stuff, so you probably wouldn't like some of the Hammer stuff that I like. I like some of the psychological thriller stuff. Zombie Maniac, there you go. See, Zombie Maniac, 2 amazing releases that came out this year, and I think that they put out these 2 releases which are incredible. And they got a lot of like goodwill with those films, right? But I think they lost a bit of goodwill with collectors with what they did with Django, with the kind of pretty much cease desist Django. Now
Getting Buried I really want. That's what I wanted for a long time. I think I've got a DVD edition of that somewhere. Like it's, well, it might have been Blue Underground, might have been like Anchor Bay, not sure, but I think I got one here somewhere. They can be good, but I'm actually very upset about this. And there you go, guys. At 90 minutes, I think we've done a pretty good edition here in the movie club. So I really need some tea. I'm going to spend I'm off tomorrow, so I'm going to spend the next night. Oh, the Zadichi set. 316. Yes, if you don't have the Zadichi set, dude, they put that really cheap in the UK. If you are region free, get your butt and buy that Zadichi set. It is an amazingly cheap price. People say they're honoring it, so that's good. If you haven't seen the Zadichi films, it's out of stock now. It's kind of who put out Zadichi? Criterion, and the thing is that they put out the whole set. Hold on a second before I go. So this massive box set right here. See this? Recently, this set, which is very expensive, was put on Amazon UK for a while. Oh, Zadichi is a Japanese like swordsman. In a way, it's the James Bond of over there with the amount of films and stuff. Anyway, so they put out like the set, which was really supposed to be really expensive. Put it like for what came into around like $26 really in Canada, I think. It was really cheap. And if you find it, if you can find that set for that price, definitely check it out. Yeah, Blind Samurai. They're actually Blind Fury with Rutger Hauer is a remake of Zadichi. Thank you guys so much for watching tonight. I am Aaron. This is the movie library. Thank you tonight for joining me in the movie club, because well, John, you are the movie club. You know, I'm just coming by and doing this stuff. You guys are awesome. Make sure you look at the people that are responding on here, because a lot of the people that are in here talking have amazing channels of their own. Make sure you check them out, and I will see you next time here on the Movie Club. Keep rocking it, guys.